Good morning. Welcome to a terrific Tuesday. Let's start our morning with our Power of Dreams programming. Let's manifest our dreams All right, welcome back. Today we're going to be reading this most beautiful chapter in Letting Go. So we've been talking about health, wealth, happiness. We've been talking about how all of us are in this journey of letting go and how can we achieve the state of inner freedom is what today we'll talk about. We'll start this morning with that. So let's understand a bit deeper more as to how letting go can really help us. Yesterday, what we spoke about was how it helps us in health, how it helps us in wealth. And today we're going to take it further. So let's start our morning. The state of inner freedom. What does life become when one continuously surrenders? What is possible? In the surrendered state, we're independent of the outer world and source of satisfaction because source of happiness has been found within us. Let's get this very clear that the minute we keep letting go, we keep letting go, we just start feeling so satisfied, so happy, and that's when the maximum miracles happen. Happiness is shared with others so that in relationships, the surrendered person is supportive, sympathetic, encouraging, patient, and tolerant. There's an effortless appreciation of the worth and values of others and a consideration for their feelings. Power struggles, being right and proving our point have been relinquished. There's an automatic, non judgmental attitude in the supporting of others to grow, learn, experience, and fulfill their own potentialities. There's an easygoing, nurturing acceptance of others. We live relaxed, vibrant, and full of energy. Life events flow automatically and effortlessly. So, very important for all of us to understand in relationships, when you and I surrender our ego, that essay, this is how this should be, this is how it should be. That the minute we let go of that, everything is so flowing. There's nothing like I'm the father or I'm the husband or I'm this or I'm the boss. Nothing. You're supportive, you're sympathetic, you're encouraging, you tolerate, you accept the person the way he or she is. The minute we embrace a non-judgmental attitude, we are supporting life to grow. So obviously, the relationship that you are in right and connection with, he or she is only going to grow and will share so much more with you. But if you're not easygoing, if you're all the time holding on to some reins, there'll be so much tension that there'll be no camaraderie. So that's how life starts responding. The minute we are letting go in our relationships of, me the boss or me the top person, I know more types. We no longer respond from a motive of sacrificing or giving up something for someone. Rather, it's we are seeing ourselves as being of loving service to others in the world. जब हम sacrifice ही नहीं कर रहे, जब हम सिर्फ we are being in our own element of just being and just being channels of love, then what is the question of compromise, sacrifice? And when those heavy words don't come, life is going to flow. Life events are seen as opportunities rather than challenges. The personality is gentle and open with a willingness to let go and surrender non-stop because the unfolding and ongoing inner processes of continuous revelation. As the process unfolds, we feel an inner transformation. This leads to a consistent feeling of gratitude, pleasure, and certainly about our goals. The energy nahi waste ho rahi in proving a point to somebody. We are simply flowing with this life, and hey, life is absolutely amazing. There's a living in the present rather than preoccupation with the past or the future. There's a trusting defenselessness because the power that is projected onto the world has been re-owned. There's an inner feeling of strength and invulnerability leading to an inner serenity. At first, there is this identification, I am the body. As the mechanism of surrender continues, it becomes quite obvious that I am the mind that experiences the body, not the body. So, one more thing. This particular book is saying I am the mind. But what do we all have? What have we all learned so far? Are we the mind? Are we the body? Who are we actually? Okay, right now David Hawkins is saying I'm the mind that experiences the body, not the body. But truly, are we the mind also? I need the answers on the chat box, please. I am the soul. Thank you, Richa. So yes, I am the soul. I'm neither the mind nor the body. But what is true about this is partially why? Because the soul comes with subconscious mind. Subconscious mind has all the messages, all the recordings, all the feelings, all the beliefs that it has had from this life or past many. So partially this is correct, but not 100%. So it says, I am the mind that experiences the body, not the body, right? So when we're coming in this, when we're coming in mother's womb, when we're deciding which life do we want to live, the soul is deciding in a soul level journey. And with it comes as a part and parcel the subconscious mind, which is over 95% of which is controlling our daily activities. As more feelings and belief system is surrendered, there eventually comes the awareness. I'm not the mind either, but that which witnesses and experiences the mind, emotions, and body. So here, right now we here. Just see what's coming. जैसे हम लेट गो करते हैं और ज्यादा हमें ये भी अवेयरनेस आ जाती है कि मैं तो माइंड भी नहीं हूँ सिर्फ विटनेस करो एक्सपीरियंसेस माइंड एंड इमोशंस सो देयर वी आर through inner observation there's a realization of something that remains constant and the same no matter what goes on in the external world or with the body emotions or mind. With this awareness comes a state of total freedom. The inner state has been discovered, the silent state of awareness that underlies all movement, activities, sound, feelings, and thought is discovered to be a timeless dimension of peace. The minute आप हमें surrender करेंगे, this beautiful sense of, peace will pervade. Because अब हम control ही नहीं कर रहे. अब हम सिर्फ ऑब्जर्व करें लोग कैसे कर रहे हैं, चीजें कैसे फ्लो हो रही हैं, कुछ हम कर रहे हैं वो कैसे फ्लो हो रही है. अब हमें वो नहीं है कि ये ऐसे ही होना चाहिए, ऐसे ही होना चाहिए. अपने इवन चीजें करने के लिए वी आर लाइक ओके हम अपना बेस्ट दे रहे हैं. इफ इट्स मेंट टू हैपन इट विल हैपन, अदरवाइज व्हाटएवर इज हैपनिंग सर माथे पे. सो अब क्या फीलिंग आ रही है? अवेयरनेस ऑफ एवरीथिंग अराउंड अस. अब हमें टाइम मिल रहा है टू सी एंजॉय our surroundings, and then we are peaceful. Once identified with this awareness, we are no longer at the effect of the world, the body, or the mind. And with this awareness comes an inner calmness, stillness, and a profound sense of inner peace. We realize this is a place to be in. We realize this is what we were always seeking, but didn't know it because we had gotten lost in the maze. हम ना उस उलझन में फंसे हुए थे. So called being guided by ये सही है, ये सही है, ये सही है, but actually सही क्या था? To live and let live. वो तो हम भूल ही चुके थे. खुद भी नहीं जी रहे थे, दूसरे को भी जीने दे रहे थे. तुम ऐसे करना चाहिए, मुझे ऐसे करना चाहिए. किसने बोला? That is what the mistake we were all making. We had mistakenly equated ourselves with the outer phenomena of our hectic life, the body and its experiences, the obligations, the jobs, the titles, the activities, the problems and the feelings. Problems kab aati hain? Can anyone tell me? When do problems come? Problems come whenever we think that this is the only solution. And जब वो solution नहीं हो जाए, तो problem है. Which means हम stuck रहते हैं attitude में कि this is the right way forward. ये नहीं हुआ, the problem. Exactly. Opinions differ. But now we realize that we are in the timeless space in which the phenomena are happening. We're not the flickering images playing out the drama on the movie screen, but the screen itself, a non-judgmental witness of the unfolding movie of life with no beginning and no end, infinite in its potential. How beautiful. अब हम क्या कर रहे हैं? अपनी लाइफ की मूवी को देख रहे हैं, किरदार आ रहे हैं, जा रहे हैं, काम कर रहे हैं, फिनिश कर रहे हैं. ना कोई शुरुआत है, ना कोई अंत है. It's infinite. कितना कुछ हो सकता है पता भी नहीं. These progressive realizations of our true nature prepare the ground for the ultimate reality, the ultimate realization of the identity of consciousness with divinity itself. जब हम इस awareness में आते हैं, तब हम realize करते हैं, oh my God, this is what life is. Wow, it's beautiful, it's peaceful, it's amazing, it's happy. Divinity guide कर रही है मुझे. I'm so well aware. Divine is guiding me. I'm just playing my role. I'm enjoying the process. I'm loving the process. I'm trusting the process. Imagine how will we all feel when we start living a life like this. It's going to be absolutely magical. And that state we must reach. All right. Now let's go to the next chapter, which is again absolutely phenomenal. It's beautiful. It is all about relationships, which is what we're all thriving on, surviving on. Richa, can you help me read a bit and then I'll keep taking over. Thank you, my dear. So chapter 18 is about relationships. And let's start.
Because they are so intimately connected with our basic desire for love and security, relationship quickly bring up innermost feelings. For the reason they are extremely valuable, no matter whether the relationship is classified as good or bad. In the process of emotional emancipation, everything is equally valuable. It is necessary to remind ourselves that feelings are programs. That is, they are learned responses that often have a purpose. That purpose is directly related to achieving an effect on the other person's feeling, and by doing so, to influence other feelings toward ourselves and to fulfill our own inner goal. We will look at common emotional reaction and examine what their real purpose is. Emotional reactions have nothing to do with love, for love is a state of oneness with another. One love is not just an emotion that comes and goes. What often passes for love in common human understanding is primarily attachment, dependency, and possessiveness.
Okay, let's understand this. Now, all of us are very closely connected with our basic desires for love and security. Love में तो हम पैदा ही हुए हैं. Love ही हमें चाहिए, love ही हमें देना है. Love में जब रहते हैं, security अपने आप आती है. Relationships में ये पहली important feelings आ जाती है love की कि तभी आप relationship में हो. अब relationship important क्यों होता है? ये अच्छा बुरा क्यों होता है? Depending upon the emotional connection, depending upon how are you person, purpose does it have? Now, the purpose is directly linked to achieving an effect on the other person's feeling. If I'm flowing in love, चाहे मेरा आपसे कोई blood relation है कि नहीं, doesn't matter. I will anyways be attached to you. And if you are responding well to me, then it's going to be a two-way ship, right? That's why this is a relationship. It's the only ship that is two ways. एक तरफा relationship नहीं हो सकता. So when you are giving your emotions, that other person giving you relation, that's when the bond becomes stronger. Now, let's understand. We are all in this journey, in this emotional journey, with the real purpose. And the real purpose is only one. It's all about oneness. It's not about love. It's not about anything else. Oneness है तो love है, oneness है तो सब कुछ है. What often passes for love and common human understanding is primary attachment, dependency, possessiveness. Now, this is something we all have to get free from. Agreed that we have attachments, agreed we have relationships. But what is the need to own them and say, my son, my daughter, my parent, my partner? I'm not saying that we can just say, something generic. For example, how do I introduce my husband, Prashant? He's Prashant, my better half. I will say my better half. But if I'm just saying that, or am I like holding on to him, he can't go anywhere else? Am I completely dependent upon him कि वो permission देंगे तो मैं जाऊंगी, वो करेंगे तो मैं करूंगी? Am I so possessive about him to not see him going out of sight? We have to let go in relationships also. You are born with relationships, or you inherit relationships, you make relationships, that's great. But just keep letting go in them also. Yeah, Richa, let's read the next page.
Negative feelings. As we shall see, all emotions towards other involve the basic belief that we are incomplete within ourselves and therefore others are viewed and utilized as a means to an end. Although we may not be able to influence the other person in the way we should like, the utilization of other person still occurs on the level of fantasy and experience and expectations. We also discover that much of what we experience is a relationship, is happening only in our imagination. Let's start first with the most negative emotion. We will discover what their underlying purpose is and the other person's likely response.
अब relationships में negative भी होता है, positive feelings भी होती हैं. Negative feelings क्यों होती है? Because there's lack. ना जब lack है तो क्यों है? Because हम expectations कर रहे हैं. जब हमारी कोई उम्मीदों पे खरा नहीं उतर रहा तो प्रॉब्लम तो मतलब नेगेटिव. अब ये ठीक नहीं है, अब वो ठीक नहीं है, अब कंप्लेन कर रहे हैं, ब्लेम कर रहे हैं, क्रिटिसाइज कर रहे हैं. सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट चीज आती है गुस्सा, कि जैसे मैंने सोचा था वैसे तो हुआ नहीं. सो यू आर नॉट सेटल्ड विद इट. लेट्स रीड अबाउट एंगर.
The first feelings, we will start with the most negative feeling of hate, malice, anger, rage, revenge, and violence. It is obvious that the underlying fantasy here is to eliminate, banish, kill, destroy, injury, hurt, frighten, and intimidate. The other person's likely response is to avoid us, to hate us in return, and to bring about a counterattack. Lesser form of anger are criticism, criticalness, resentment, sulking, stewing, and negative judgments about others. The emotional purpose is to punish others, make them feel sorry, try to force them to change their feelings or behavior, make them suffer, get even with them, diminish and devalue them. This, of course, also results in the other person's response of counter criticism, counter resentment, and avoidance. To handle this area, we have to realize that almost everyone has these fantasies. Playing ostrich with them, thinking that they are wicked or that we are
That we are
guilty will not resolve them. We have to come up to the level of courage and look at our worst feelings. Admit that they are part of the condition of being human and remember that we are only held accountable for what we do with them. It is obvious that these negative feelings take an enormous emotional toll on our own inner selves. That reason alone is sufficient to warrant looking at them and letting go of them.
Very important to understand. जब expectations है तो गुस्सा भी आएगा, frustration भी होगा जब वो खरे पे नहीं उतरेंगे. गुस्सा आने से lot of गुस्सा आएगा तो हम दिखाएंगे भी, चाहे मुंह पे दिखाएंगे चाहे बोल के दिखाएंगे. अब चाहे मुंह पे दिखाएंगे बोल के दिखाएंगे, गुस्सा है तो गुस्सा है, उसका रिएक्शन भी आएगा. रिएक्शन पॉजिटिव तो आने वाला नहीं है अनलेस नॉट वो इंसान स्पिरिचुअल हो, अनलेस वो इंसान समझता हो कि उसको रिस्पॉन्ड करना, रिएक्ट नहीं करना. द मिनट वो रिएक्ट करता है, यू हैव लॉस्ट a very beautiful part of your relationship. You have come up with something which is not in the process of love. And that in itself is losing a part of your relationship. We have to understand, हम सिर्फ अकाउंटेबल एक चीज के लिए हैं कि वहां से जो मैसेज आ रहा है या जो नहीं हो रहा उसको हम कैसे प्रोसेस कर रहे हैं. नहीं हुआ तो नहीं हुआ, इट्स ओके, कोई बड़ी बात नहीं. ट्राई किया ना आपने, नहीं भी ट्राई किया, कोई रीजन से नहीं किया, इट्स ओके. हम लोग क्या कहते हैं, वी एक्सपेक्ट. नो, एक्सपेक्टेशन इज अ प्रॉब्लम. व्हाई डू वी एक्सपेक्ट? बिकॉज वी अटैच्ड. I'm not saying we leave our attachment completely. We try as much as possible. But this is one thing we can do, na? Expectation to change. Expect only from yourself. वो भी कि I'll become a better version of myself. ये नहीं कि मैं यहाँ हूँ और मैं यहाँ पहुंच जाऊंगा. धीरे धीरे I'm going to go better, better, better. हर साल मैं देख रही हूँ कि मेरी जर्नी कैसे better हुई, better हुई, better हुई. बस यहाँ से यहाँ पहुंचने के लिए ना फिर ना उम्मीद ही आती कि मैंने तो ये प्लान किया था, यहाँ था और यहाँ पहुंच पाया, बट मैं तो नहीं पहुंच पाया. So keep becoming a better version of yourself. Let's look at it further. Please read.
Looking at the feelings on the level of interpersonal relationship, we now discover another law of consciousness. Our feelings and thoughts always have an effect on other persons and affect our relationship, whether these thoughts or feelings are verbalized, expressed, or not. We will not at this point go into the discussion of the mechanics of exactly how this comes about, but it is currently an area of research of modern advanced quantum physics, especially that area concerned with high energy subatomic particles and their relationship to thoughts and thought forms.
All right. Please understand. हमारी जो feelings होती हैं वो हमेशा एक इफेक्ट लाती हैं दूसरे इंसान पे. कई बार हम उनको देखते भी नहीं हैं, बट वो अपना सब एटॉमिक पार्टिकल क्वांटम फिजिक्स में मूव करती है, ट्रैवल करती है. आज आपको एक फीलिंग हुई कि मुझे, फॉर एग्जांपल, मुझे फीलिंग हुई मेरे सामने प्रतिमा जी है कि आई नीड टू स्पीक टू हर. वो फीलिंग्स इमीडिएटली, मेरी थॉट्स इमीडिएटली पिकअप कर सकती हैं अगर वो ट्यून्ड इन है तो. इट डजंट मैटर कि वो मेरे सामने ही है. शी कुड बी इन एनी पार्ट ऑफ द वर्ल्ड. So let's imagine that this world is all your telepathy. This world is all about feelings and thoughts. What thoughts are you radiating? What feelings are you radiating? They definitely affect a relationship. For example, samne se I'm very good with you right now, and I'm like talking to you very nicely, but andar meri feelings are, oh she's so bad, oh he's so bad, oh this is the way he does. आप उसको भी pick up कर लोगे. So whether आपने verbalize करी कि whether आपने express करी कि नहीं करी, it doesn't matter. So, अंदर के क्लटर में जो चल रहा है उसको हमें साफ करना होता है कि अगर हमारे पास फीलिंग्स आ रही हैं ऑफ ब्लेम, गेम, क्रिटिसिज्म और एक्सपेक्टेशन, वी शुड लेट गो कंप्लीटली. जब तक हम यहाँ क्लेंजिंग नहीं करेंगे हम आगे नहीं बढ़ पाएंगे, बिकॉज whether we realize or not, these thought forms are always around us, and these thought forms have to be just popped. They're like bubbles. Just keep popping them, keep popping them. Let go, let go. Let go करने के लिए एक और चीज है. You can imagine that you're in a comic movie, which I do very often. I'm in a comic, and एक thought आया anger, एक thought आया expectation, एक thought आया ऐसे अच्छा नहीं हुआ, it should have been like this. Pop one, let go. Pop two, let go. Pop three, let go. And keep doing that. उससे एक physical level पे भी you're cleansing yourself of something. Let's continue further.
We can likely intuit the truth of this law of consciousness from our own experience. We generally know, for example, when someone is angry toward us, even if they say nothing about it. Sensing their repressed angry feeling, we might ask, is something wrong? Even when they reply, oh, nothing, we are still aware of the energy of anger and upset.
I'm sure all of you agreed with this.
Yes.
हम सब agree करते हैं, right? कोई इंसान बोले नहीं बोले, उसके एक्सप्रेशन से या फीलिंग से हमें मालूम पड़ जाता है कि वो इंसान खुश है कि ना खुश है. Like my father will never compliment me easily, and he will never tell me that he is happy with me easily. ना खुश होंगे तो भी शायद थोड़ा टाइम लगा के बताएंगे, मोस्टली इमीडिएट बता देते हैं. But I can see that he's happy, or I can see that he's not happy, because we pick up in the frequency. उस frequency में हम channel कर लेते हैं automatically. हम जब रेडियो ऑन करते हैं तो we know ना which bandwidth are we playing at, कि क्या चल रहा है. Similarly, that frequency which a person emits or you are emitting, you are tuning into that very, very easily. It is, let me take it from here and I'll ask you to join me. Yeah, it is somewhat dismaying to discover the truth of this interfacing at the energetic level. but anyone can discover it by inner investigation. The overall attitude we hold about another person are influencing that other person's feelings and attitudes about us, whether we express them or not. Now, this is the problem. हम सोच रहे हैं उस इंसान ने मेरे साथ ऐसे रिएक्ट करा, क्यों रिएक्ट किया? हमने वो फीलिंग दी, हमने वो वाइब्रेशन दी, उसकी वजह से उसका एटीट्यूड बदला। वो तो हम देख नहीं रहे अपने आप को, तो हमने बना दिया ओ जी आई एम द बेस्ट। क्या एनर्जी दी आपने उस इंसान को? उस एनर्जी से उस इंसान का ओवरऑल एटीट्यूड आपकी तरफ बदली हो गया। चाहे आपने दिखाया हो चाहे नहीं, मैंने तो बोला ही नहीं, मैं तो चुप रहा, मैंने तो मुझे रिएक्ट नहीं किया। रिएक्ट किया नहीं ना, अंदर से रिएक्शन हुआ ना, अंदर से रिस्पॉन्ड तो नहीं किया। एंड जो आपने वाइब्रेशन दी, जो आपने फ्रीक्वेंसी दी उस इंसान ने, उसमें अपने आप को करा। Women in our society are more intuitive than men. They're generally more consciously aware that their thoughts and feelings are in alignment or are known by other people. True psychics, of course, are merely people who are experts in intuition. Women को आवाज जल्दी हो जाता है, क्यों? That's how they're built. That's what the DNA is all about. Psychics, of course, they've studied this and they know about this, and they're born psychics, so they knew intuition पे work करना है. Now all of us are going to try and become psychics. अब जब intuition ने higher self से कुछ guide किया, let's not challenge it. Anyway, जो लोग unified की journey कर रहे हैं, तो आपको challenge करने के लिए भी आपको तो signals दिए गए yes or no के. It's fantastic. You even can do that, which is amazing. Let's read further. When first discovering the truth of this, we might go through this some sort of a mild paranoia. Most everyone is brought up to believe that their thoughts and feelings are private affairs and nobody else's business, that all minds are separated and that emotions happen only within the confines of the body. Now, is this line true? कि जो हमारे emotions हैं, जो हमारी feelings हैं, वो हमारा private chamber है? Is this true? कि सिर्फ हमारा है, we are separate from the other person. While I get your answers, let me take this journey forward. As we begin to investigate this area, we find that often the set of feelings we hold about another person is mirrored back to us with the attitude, and that when we change our inner attitude about them, the attitude changes abruptly. No. So when action Richa, they're not our feelings and thoughts only, never. Yes, absolutely, Pratima ji, feelings travel. आपको लग रहा है कि आपकी है, पर उस इंसान का रिएक्शन हो रहा है आपके बिना कुछ बोले भी, because the feelings are traveling. वो frequency आप दे रहे हो, vibration आप दे रहे हो. So they're not yours alone. If I feel something, that those feelings are going to travel. And those feelings are something that the person will mirror back to us because of our attitude. कई बार एक इंसान बहुत बदतमीजी कर रहा होता है, but आपने उसको let go कर दिया, and you're like, it's okay, it's fine. And then you're like, okay, let's move on. एकदम से इंसान का attitude बदल जाता है, क्यों? उस feelings travel कर जाती है. We are unconsciously influencing others all the time because of the feelings we hold about them. So underline this to understand this very clearly. जाने अनजाने में हम दूसरों को इन्फ्लुएंस कर रहे हैं अपनी फीलिंग्स, और हमारी फीलिंग्स अधिकतर क्या होता है, पहले से बना के हमने रखा होता है, एक जजमेंट बना के रखा होता है, ये इंसान ऐसा है, हमने लेबल्स करे होते हैं इंसानों को, जिनको हमको लेबल को निकालना है, राइट? As we become more intuitive, we will laugh at our former naivety. And we've researched further into the world of psychics and parapsychology. We will discover that thoughts and feelings can be read by expert psychics, even from the other side of the globe. You know, I have a teacher, he lives in Dubai. And whenever I talk to him, I don't even see him on Zoom. I just talk to him on WhatsApp call, at times video call, at times normal call. He just reads me like as if he knows me inside, outside. They're psychics. You just know it. तुम ये बोल रहे हो ना, but ये बात नहीं है, ये बात है. I'm like, oh yeah, with you, everything you know, Guruji. This is how it is. Because this is the truth. The only way to get over this initial paranoia is to clean up our own act. Finding out what needs to be cleaned is so simple and easy. Just look at what you would not want others to know about you and begin to surrender it. Suppose, आज I'm meeting you for the first time, and I know I'm short-tempered. But I don't want you to know that I'm short-tempered. So what do I have to do? I simply have to give up a short temper. What do I have to say for giving away? I clean myself of this unrequired emotion of short temper, and I am very pleasant minded. मैं क्लीन कर देती हूँ और एफर्मेशन बोल देती हूँ so that मैंने अनप्रोग्राम कर दिया एंड रीप्रोग्राम कर दिया, कंट्रोल और डिलीट करा और कुछ एडिशन कर दी. So very important to make space of the dirt and add what you want to do. With observation, it is quite clear that these intensely negative feelings reverberate and boomerang back to us, profoundly affect our relationships. The other person merely mirrors back what we are projecting onto them. People who carry a lot of hatred find that they are living in a hateful world and have lots of people hating them. And they hate people. They see external situations and world as hateful. They fail to see that this is the entire situation is self-created. दुनिया में डर डर के रहना जीना चाहिए. अरे यू कांट ट्रस्ट पीपल. अरे ये नहीं हो सकता, वो नहीं हो सकता. आपने ऐसी दुनिया बनाई है तो नहीं हो सकता. और उसकी ऑपोजिट लाइफ इज ब्यूटीफुल. अरे एवरीवन सपोर्ट्स मी, इट्स अमेजिंग, बहुत बढ़िया चल रहा है. सो उसने वो दुनिया बनाई है. दुनिया तो सेम है. उसके लिए वैसा, आपके लिए ऐसा क्यों? Because of our feelings, because of our emotions, because of our response or reaction. We have the secret hope that our angry feelings towards others will punish and make them suffer. Ultimately, हमारा गुस्सा, हमारी feelings हमें लगता है कि ऐसे होगा तो वो उसको परेशानी होगी. परेशानी हमें हो रही है. Actually, we are just providing them justification to hate us back. We have to live with the guilt of the fear of the retaliation and our own unconscious guilt, which often result in sickness, physical sickness. It will be discovered that at all our anger and resentment are due to our perception, that is, to the way in which we are viewing a given situation. When the inner feelings are relinquished, the way in which we see the situation changes. We are often surprised by the abruptness in which feelings of forgiveness suddenly arise and the relationship becomes transformed. Even though at external level, we did or said nothing to express this inner change. Very, very important to understand this. Very important to understand. अगर हम अपनी feelings बदलते हैं, उनको आगे देते हैं, we are looking at a much better relationship for ourselves. And अगर हम अपने आप को forgive कर देते हैं for holding a grudge against somebody, and उसको forgive कर देते हैं क्योंकि हमने because of us आपने ऐसा किया, I'm sorry कि आपके through ये हुआ मेरी life में. It's huge to say, हाँ? अभी आपको लग रहा है उस इंसान ने मेरे साथ रॉन्ग किया, बट आपकी फीलिंग की वजह से उस इंसान ने रॉन्ग किया, तो आपने अपने आप को फॉरगिव किया और उसको फॉरगिव किया बिकॉज आपने उसके थ्रू करवाया था, तो आप एक्चुअली माफी मांगी उससे, फॉरगिवनेस मांग रहे हो आप. एंड ये आप एक्चुअली फिजिकली बोल के नहीं कर रहे हो, इमोशनल वर्ल्ड में, फीलिंग वर्ल्ड में कर रहे हो, इनर वर्ल्ड में कर रहे हो, बट दैट बी ऑब्जर्व्ड इमीडिएटली. This happens with great frequency when our intention is to overcome our resentment. A Course in Miracles is based on this precise process of changing our view of the situation by the willingness to see it differently and to be forgiving. This is what was meant by Jesus Christ when he spoke of the miraculous power of forgiveness. Forgive yourself, forgive the others, ask for forgiveness. James में आपने सुना होगा वो क्षमा याचना मांगते हैं. I'm sorry for something which I've done to you knowingly or unknowingly. And I forgive you for what you may have done knowingly or unknowingly. It's a very beautiful act. जब हम ये let go करते रहते हैं, miracles life में आते हैं, because your frequency matters. Interestingly enough, there's a scientific basis for Christ's admonition to bless and love our enemies. On the level of energy, the lower feelings have a lower vibration frequency and lower power. When we are in lower states such as anger, hate, violence, guilt, jealousy, or any other negative feelings, we are physically vulnerable to the other person. Physically and psychically vulnerable to the other person. Physically क्यों? वो इंसान आपको कुछ बोल सकता है. Psychically क्यों? क्योंकि आपकी feelings travel कर रही है, आपकी energy travel कर रही है. So आप उस zone में आ जाते हैं. In contrast, forgiveness, gratitude, and loving kindness have a much higher vibration and much greater power. Let's do it right now immediately. Let's say I'm very angry. How do you feel? गुस्सा आ रहा है, बहुत गुस्सा आ रहा है. उसने ये कर दिया, उसने वो कर दिया, उसने वो कर दिया. How are you feeling? I hate him. And immediately we say, oh, I'm very happy. Oh, life is so beautiful. It's amazing. I'm so grateful for this. I'm so grateful for that. I'm grateful for life. I forgive and forget so easily. Yeah. I'm so loving. And I just love that thing about me. I just feel so good. दोनों में एक में एकदम हैवी, एक में एकदम लाइट. मात्र वर्ड यूज करने से ही एनर्जी आ जाती है. सो उन फीलिंग्स को जब हम अपने अंदर लाते हैं, इमेजिन द पावर ऑफ द हैवीनेस और द लाइटनेस. पूरी बॉडी की फ्रीक्वेंसी, पूरी बॉडी की वाइब्रेशन बदल जाती है. इसलिए बोलते हैं एफर्मेशंस आर इम्पोर्टेंट. एफर्मेशंस रेजोनेट करती है, आपके ब्लड सिस्टम के अंदर मिक्स हो जाती है. सो वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. When we shift out of a lower to a higher energy pattern, we create a protective shield on the energetic level, as it were, and we can no longer be cyclically vulnerable to the other person. अब क्या बड़ी बात हुई कि अगर मैं forgive कर रहा हूँ, forget कर रहा हूँ, so immediately the other person feels that and वो कुछ भी बोल देगा, it won't affect me because मैंने अपनी vibration बढ़ा दी, तो मैंने protection layer लगा दी अपने पास. On the other hand, when we are in a state of anger, for instance, we're vulnerable to the energy depletion brought about by the other person's counter anger. मैं ऑलरेडी नीचे के जोन में हूँ और मैं और गुस्सा हो गया तो वो इंसान भी जो बोलेगा वो भी अटैक करेगा मुझे. Paradoxically, if we really want to affect other people when we ought to really love them, so very 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 important for all of us to fall in the world of love and light, where we let go, let go, let go. The anger and us boomerangs with us when it affects us because we attach to them. This was the wisdom of the Buddha statement in the Dhammapada. Hate is not conquered by hate. Hate is conquered by love. This is an eternal law. With this beautiful phrase, with this beautiful thought, let's now do our sun salutations, and thereafter we'll read about guilt.
The Surya Namaskar with mantras. Om Mitraye Namaha. Om Ravaye Namaha. Om Suryaye Namaha. Om Bhanave Namaha. Om Khagaye Namaha. Om Pushne Namaha. Om Hiranyagarbhaye Namaha. Om Marichaye Namaha. Om Adityaye Namaha. Om Savitre Namaha. Om Arkaye Namaha. Om Bhaskaraye Namaha. Salutations to the universal friend. Salutations to the resplendent sun. Salutations to the energy that induces activity within us. Salutations to the one who illumines. Salutations to the sun moving across the sky. Salutations to the giver of strength. Salutations to the golden cosmic self. Salutations to the Lord of the dawn. Salutations to the son of Aditi, the cosmic mother. Salutations to the benevolent mother. Salutations to the energy that we praise, and to the one who guides us to salvation. The sun salutation now with the names of the postures, both in Sanskrit and English. Pranamasan, Hastuthanasan, Madhastasan, left leg back, Ashvasanchalanasan, Parvatasan, and hold this position, and now slowly progressing into the deeper version of Parvatasan, Adho Mukh Svanasana. Ashtang Namaskar, Bhujangasana, Parvatasan, left forward Ashvasanchalanasana, Padahastasana, Hastutthanasan, Pranamasan. On the right side, prayer position, raised arms pose, hand to feet pose, right leg back, equestrian pose, mountain pose, hold mountain pose, and slowly moving into the deeper version of mountain, the downward facing dog. Salute with 8 limbs, cobra, press back to mountain, right forward, equestrian pose, hand to feet pose, raised arms position, prayer pose. One round of the sun salutation with awareness on the breathing. So exhaling our hands to the chest, pranam. Inhaling as we bend back. We exhale as we fold forward. Left leg back, inhale as we're arching back. Exhale into the forward. Hold the breath for knees, chest, chin. Inhale as we arch back. Exhale into the forward. Left leg forward, inhale. This is a back bend. Exhale whenever we bend forward. Inhale as we bend back. Exhale, hands to the chest. And on the right, deep breathing. Exhale. A deep inhale. A long exhale. Right leg back with an inhale. And exhale. Hold the breath. Inhale and exhale. Right leg forward with a deep inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale.
All right. Now, today we're going to talk about to talk about feelings, right? So today will be about negative feelings. We've spoken about this, how negative feelings affect us and how our frequency and our vibration matters with our emotions and feelings. Let's talk about the most important thing after anger, which is guilt. Our next heavy area of negativity is guilt. Here, the underlying purpose is to placate, to assuage, to escape punishment by self-punishment, to elicit forgiveness. The most important of this is the wish to elicit punishment from another person combined with self-punishment. This is not a conscious wish. Nevertheless, it is the unconscious purpose of guilt. With a little investigation, this can easily be verified. Now, whenever all of us are feeling guilty, we're feeling guilty because we haven't done something the way it was supposed to be done, right? So guilt है हमारे अंदर कि ऐसा करना था, ऐसा नहीं करा. नहीं किया तो we deserve punishment because हमने जो चीज़ प्लान करी थी वो नहीं हुई. अब चाहे हमें कॉन्शियस लेवल पता है कि नहीं पता है, गिल्ट के साथ रिजेंटमेंट आता है एज अ पार्ट एंड पार्सल. ऑल्सो कम्स विद इट इज पनिशमेंट. नाउ पनिशमेंट आना when you feel guilty, it's relating to your emotional level. Very often because of guilt, because of resentment, because of that feeling of punishment, we get some physical diseases. Very important to understand this. अगर हम अपने अंदर investigation करें, with a little investigation, this can easily be verified. The next time you're feeling guilty about something particular regarding another person, watch what happens in the next encounter. Almost inevitably, they will bring up the very thing we are holding in mind. For instance, if we're feeling guilty about being late for a particular appointment, that guilt will frequently elicit a critical response from the other person. So जो हमारे frequency में है, वो manifest होके वो इंसान वो बोल भी देगा. What about if others feel we have done something wrong? मीनाक्षी, ये सब ख्याली पुलाव है. आपकी प्योर इंटेंशन होगी तो आपको प्योरनेस ही मिलेगी. Others are feeling because you are giving those feelings. Please remember, everybody in our life is playing a role because of us We are the ones. हाँ, some things are there because of prarabdha, some things are there because of punarjanam, which you have to clear in this life. If you're going to continue harping those feelings कि मेरी तो इंटेंशन बड़ी प्योर है, बट वो तो ऐसे बिहेव करता है, वो तो ऐसा फील करता है, तो अगर आप उसी चक्र में फंसे रहोगे तो अगेन वो इंसान आपकी नेक्स्ट लाइफ में भी आएगा, बिकॉज यू हैव नॉट फिनिश्ड योर कार्मिक जर्नी. सो ये सब हम अपने आप को बहलाना बंद कर दें कि हम तो अच्छे अच्छे हैं, वी आर लाइक द बुद्धा एंड दे आर लाइक द बुद्धूस. नो, they're becoming like the buddhus because we have been buddhu enough to give those vibrations. So in this world all this doesn't exist. And अगर आप अपने अंदर झांकेंगे, you will realize कि आपने कुछ ऐसा फील करा है उस इंसान के बारे में कि उसकी ऐसी फीलिंग्स आ रही हैं. It can't be. Just go inside and see it. And अभी तो हमें बताया जाए ना, with a little investigation you can verify that. See what are you feeling about. या फोन पे बात करोगे, वो कैसे बोलेगा? उस चीज के बारे में बोलेगा ही बोलेगा जो आपके अंदर बात चल रही है. By the holding of guilt, we bring on to ourselves all the criticalness of others and the belittlement of us. Our low self-esteem is channeled back to us through others in the form of their invalidation of our life. Do you realize the potential form in this word? हम क्रिटिकल है अपने बारे में कि अरे मैंने ये नहीं किया, मैंने वो नहीं किया, मुझे ये करना था, लोग क्या बोलेंगे, और वो लोग वही बात बोलते हैं because that's what we're attracting. सबसे बड़ा रोग क्या कहेंगे लोग? We are so focused on people, we want their validation so much कि हम अपने साथ truthful नहीं हो पाते. We live in a world of guilt कि वो ऐसा चाहते थे और मैंने, अच्छा वो ऐसा चाहते थे और मैंने क्यों नहीं किया? Because that is not my journey. I'm not in this love path. अगर लव में होगा तो आई विल फॉल इन लव विद व्हाटएवर आई विल डू. एंड अगर लोग वो चाह रहे हैं तो फैंटास्टिक. पर लोगों को पता ही नहीं, स्पिरिचुअल लोग को पता है, नॉन स्पिरिचुअल तो अपने अभी वही रट में फंसे हुए हैं. आई मीन आई एम. If we hold in mind that we are small and unworthy, we elicit those kinds of responses from others whose remarks tend to indicate that we are small and unworthy. This will come back to us in such a huge form. If we think we're only worth a crust of, that is what we will get. This is what scriptures mean by the statement, the poor get poorer and the rich get richer. Poverty on any level, not just financially, comes from inner poverty, just as outer wealth comes from inner wealth. If we want others to stop being critical of us and attacking us, the answer is to begin letting go of guilt and all the feelings that have brought it about. Please underline this for those who reread the chapters. अगर आप चाहते हैं लोगों का नजरिया बदले आपकी तरफ, तारीफ करें, कंप्लेन नहीं करें, तो आपको गिल्ट को लेट को करना पड़ेगा, चाहे आप जानते हैं चाहे हम नहीं जानते. Simple words for this are always standard. I let go of all the unrequired emotions that I am holding on to, which are stopping my spiritual journey. Just say this and you have an intention and this will come true because you have been in the focus. And if you realize of some particular quality that you're holding on, some negative feeling, let go of that. Just say, I let go of this guilt that I'm holding, that I was late and that person, will say this. I let go of that. Clear your aura, clear your energy, and the person will not bounce back. And you will say something, it's okay, forget it. It's not a big deal. And that's the reaction. Otherwise, you know what? Actually, you weren't late for that last appointment. I don't really appreciate that. This verse is, hey, it's okay, Akshay. We all understand. We were in traffic too. It's just fine, boss. It's fine. These two reactions will come if you let go or you're holding on. Now, what do you want? Depends upon you completely. To help clarify the role of emotions in interpreting interpersonal relationships, a very quick way of learning is to presume that the other person is conscious and aware of our inner thoughts and feelings. Now, this is a रामबाण, it's $1 million thing. मैं क्या सोच रहा हूं सबको पता है, तो मैं सोच के सोचूंगा, अरे बॉस, I can't, because people know what I'm thinking. Yeah, I can't put on a pretense, I can't put on a mask. Everyone knows everything. I'm transparent. By doing this, we will not be far from wrong, for they are indeed intuitively aware of our thoughts and feelings, even if they are not consciously aware at a given moment. दो जने अनकॉन्शियस हैं, बट फीलिंग्स मैटर कर रही है, ट्रांसफर हो रही है. पर दोनों अवेयर हो जाएं कि वी आर लाइक ग्लास बॉडीज. हम जो भी फील कर रहे हैं दूसरा इंसान रेजोनेट कर रहा है, योर क्वांटम विल चेंज, द रिएक्शंस विल चेंज, द रिस्पॉन्स विल चेंज. They will respond to us if they knew our inner feelings. Is something that if we remember, we will change huge. The overall relationship will behave as though the other person were aware of our inner feelings. If we're still holding the fantasy that other people do not know our thoughts and feelings, just notice that dogs quickly do. Do you really think that the human psyche is inferior to that of a dog? If a dog can quickly read our total inner attitude, we can be sure that the intuition of people around us is picking up the same vibration. Dogs dikha nahi hai. Anybody who's not coming with things, they bark at you, and dogs are attracted to you, they want to come to you because they feel that love around you. Dogs can pick on. Some very sensitive human beings can pick on. So why don't we tell ourselves that jo soch rahe, everyone else around me knows, and then see what's going to happen. You will have a transformational change in your attitude of even I can't feel them. They're not good. So I let go of them because this is not what I want to give to the world. Next section is about apathy and grief. The feelings of apathy, grief, depression, sorrow, self-pity, blues, hopelessness, helplessness comes from the inner program of I can't. Their purpose is to elicit sympathy, to win back, to gain support, to make others sorry, and to summon help. What is the effect of these feelings on another person? Although there truly was a feeling, and from your side, an initial attempt that you made that okay, I help, or the person needs to help. Eventually, this is replaced by pity and finally avoidance. No matter why I do it, yeah, there's no need to do it. I avoid it. Why avoidance? The avoidance is because of the huge energy demand that we are making on the other person. It is an attempt to drain them by throwing ourselves on their doorstep. Have you ever seen when you're too desperate what happens? The person starts avoiding your phone calls. You're being so desperate. The person stops avoiding your phone calls because you're taking a huge demand of his energy. This results in the common saying, which sounds hard-hearted, but is unfortunately so often true. When you laugh, the world laughs with you. When you cry alone. Nobody wants to be there in your shit time, yeah? There's nothing called shit time. You're the one who's taken it. Everyone wants to flow in love. But when you are a beautiful soul, which everyone is, and you realize your true uniqueness, you attract compassion, you attract karuna, you attract so much more. Then apathy, grief, helplessness, ये सब नहीं आता. But अगर आप उसमें फंसे, I can't do it, I can't do it. Oh, people will come to help you for once, twice, thrice, 4 times. उसके बाद I can't do it. Forget it. Let's avoid. I've done that with a couple of people in the session. How much can I handhold? I mean, I've sent messages. You don't want to come? I can't help it. I can't come to your house and teach you or tell you to be a part of this, right? So I've also given up. That's how people are. They will give up on you. They begin to resent it unless you're in a very high place and you place themselves in your capable of effortless compassion. Chronic grief brings premature aging, a tiredness and weariness about the person it can only overcome when we have the courage to allow it to come up under appropriate conditions and have the willingness to surrender and let go. So what do you mean by this? If you want to help somebody and the person is not being able to take help, you can just keep praying to the Almighty that please make me strong enough to be able to penetrate into his or her aura and to help him and to please give him the courage to do what is required by him. And if not, I will still be grateful. Still have a good intention for him before you say, oh, he's hopeless or she's hopeless and I can't help her anymore. You can. You can still help him by being channels of love and light and by sending them courage. Because courage, we realize, is a tipping point, right? Courage है तो हम ऊपर elevate करते हैं अपनी energy. अब वो इंसान courage के नीचे है. तो अगर courage भी आ जाए ना, वो tip off कर जाएगा. फिर तो बाहर निहारे हो जाएंगे. The next journey. Let's talk about fear. The feelings of fear, whether tension and anxiety, shyness, self-consciousness, caution, holding back or distrust, have the purpose of escape from the imagined threat and to put psychological distance from feared person or situation. Paradoxically, as we have pointed out before, because fear is powerful, the very process of holding in mind can make that what is fears come into our life. मुझे डर है मेरे साथ ये ना हो जाए, तथास्तु, हो गया. यूनिवर्स ने क्या सुना? मुझे डर है मैं ये मेरे साथ हो जाए. यूनिवर्स को ना की लैंग्वेज नहीं पता. मुझे डर है, तो डर पूरा हो गया. Paradoxically, as we have pointed out before, fear is so powerful. The very process of holding in our mind can make that which is feared come true in our life. It is like a self-fulfilling prophecy. The energy of fear generates in a focus on all the negative things that could happen. And that focus can coalesce the appearance of the very events that we fear the most. Very important to understand what are we generating from. हमारा focus कहाँ है? And जहाँ हमारा focus है, तो ये ना हो जाए, वो expand करेगा ही करेगा. So please be careful. Fear in relationships, therefore, is giving away our power to another person and enabling them to do the worst that we probably don't want them to do, whatever we are fearing. The way out is to look at the worst possible scenario and look at the feelings they arouse and begin to relinquish them. हमने इसके बारे में पहले ही पढ़ा था. Worst क्या हो जाएगा? ये हो जाएगा. And we let go, we let go, we let go. So we are clearing the aura and the energy. Like other emotions, fear can be unraveled to its component parts, and the parts are then easily relinquished. For instance, let's say there's a fear of critical attack. We ask ourselves, what is the worst possible scenario? With this question, we see that the basis of the fear is pride. When the pride is recognized and relinquished, the fear automatically dissolves. So again, हम सब सवाल कर सकते हैं कि worst क्या हो जाएगा? वो इंसान मेरी इज्जत नहीं करेगा, ठीक है, मेरा तो रुतबा नहीं रहेगा सोसाइटी में. Okay, let me let go. Because I know if I'm truthful, everything will be maintained, the equilibrium will be maintained, and I let go of this fear. That entire situation will dissolve many a times. Now, in a relationship, if we're experiencing fear, if we unravel the fear, we may find that it is really a fear of discovering our inner anger, the fear that the other person will retaliate against the anger. Very often, I don't know about internal fathers, Indian fathers. मेरा बेटा मेरे को छोड़ के चला जाए, respect करे मेरी. And usme the son will counteract, he will criticize, he also wants to grow up. But if the father says, my son respects me and I let him do what he wants, he will actually come and respect you because he'll be like, Papa allows me to do whatever, and I can ask him for guidance. Those situations may result same here. You want respect and you will get it. But ek you let go and ek you're holding on. Now what do you want? गुस्सा तो आएगा ही if you're holding on and वो चीजें नहीं हो रही, गुस्सा तो आएगा ही. And डर भी होगा, वो डर ऑटोमेटिकली रहेगा. And दूसरी सिचुएशन में डर तो गायब because आपको डर ही नहीं है, because आपने relinquish कर दिया. The desire to hold on to just let it go. The insecure person is fearful and prone to jealousy, clinging, possessiveness, attachment in relationships, an approach that brings about frustration. There's so many wives I know who do not allow their husband to go on stag holidays. They're so possessive, they're so clingy. पता नहीं क्या हो जाएगा if the person will go there. They're so attached. Oh my God, he'll go wrong. Why the scare? The purpose of these feelings is to bind and tightly possess the others to achieve security by preventing loss at any time, to punish the other for our own fear of loss. Again, these attitudes tend to bring into जाने अनजाने में आप अपने fear को manifest कर रहे हो और वही सामने आ रहा है. The other person, now feeling pressurized by energy of dependency and possessiveness, has an inner impulse to run for freedom, to withdraw, to detach, and to the very thing that we fear the most. Hence, extramarital affairs. Hence, attraction outside. Hence, divorces. Because you're so clingy, you're so attached, so dependent. People need space to breathe. Imagine if somebody covers your mouth and you're thinking you can't breathe. How do you feel? You just want to let go, na? Hatao. That's what happens when people are so claustrophobic in relationships. And this relationship could be with anybody. It could be with a boss, a parent, a spouse, a child, anybody. Now, these attitudes lead to constantly wanting to influence others. Now, people are intuitively picking up our wish to control them. The response is to resist. So the only way to bring about relinquishment of their resisting us is to let go of wanting to influence them in the first place. This means letting go of the inner fears as they come up. जब fear आया तब हटाओ, जब fear आया तब हटाओ. Very, very, very important to keep clearing yourself of the very source of fear. साथ में आता है प्राइड. अभी भी टॉक्ड अबाउट कि आधी चीजें क्या होती है, लोग क्या कहेंगे. प्राइड प्राइड प्राइड. अरे पीपल शुड से आई एम सच अ गुड चाइल्ड, आई एम सच अ गुड पर्सन, आई एम सच अ गुड थिंग. हमें सिर्फ तारीफ चाहिए, वैलिडेशन चाहिए. Our feelings of pride are often condoned in our society and take the form of perfectionism, neatness, punctuality, dependability, good personhood, excessive cleanliness, workaholism, excessive ambition, success, moral superiority, and politeness. So, नाउ अगेन अपने आप को देख लो. अगर आप हर चीज परफेक्ट करना चाह रहे हो, बहुत नीटली करना चाह रहे हो, पंक्चुअल रह रहे हो, यू आर डिपेंडेबल, these are very beautiful attitudes by the way, but if you have a fetish for them, then कई लोग को OCD हो जाता है, ओवर obsessive compulsive disorder हो जाते हैं. I have to do like this. So pride is a very thin line to going in the abyss. Then people become people pleasers. So there's a very thin line in people pleasing and being a people's person. Who do you want to be? Being a people's person, matlab, allowing them to be who they are, just being with them, absorbing the thing, and just being with them. And people pleaser is, oh, I want Tari from you, so I will go extra mile for you. I will try to please you. Oh, and you'll say, oh, she's so sweet, yeah, she did this for me. Oh my God. What do we want? In its exaggerated form, we see arrogance, boastfulness, vanity, smugness, prejudice. On the spiritual level, there is a righteous killing of non-believers. The underlying emotion, the underlying purpose of these feelings towards others is to win their admiration, avoid criticism or rejection, gain acceptance, be important, and thereby overcome our own inner feelings of worthlessness. Unfortunately, the feelings that are aroused in the other person are those of envy, competitiveness, or even hatred and exploitation. If we look at pride, we see that it's often a substitute for genuine self-esteem. I trust myself, I respect myself, great. But if I expect that the same should be done by everybody else around me, then I'm adorning on a jacket of pride.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I've been unmuted. What am I supposed to do? Should I continue reading?
Yes, yes, you can.
Can you just please tell me which is the line that I'm supposed to read from? Actually, I was not following the book. Richa ji, please can you help?
I think when we have adequate self-esteem, we are motivated by inner humility. I think
Can
last
you
paragraph.
can you please continue since you know?
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
When we have adequate self-esteem, we are motivated by inner humility and gratitude, and therefore we have no need for the constant eliciting of strokes and pats from others. When we stop wanting to be liked, we find that we are. When we stop catering to others and trying to manipulate their approval, we find that they do respect us. Self degeneration in the forms of placating, flattering, deference, self efficacy, and passivity all are attempts to influence others by catering to their ego so as to get favorable treatment and get our own way. False humility merely says to other person, I am small person, please treat me that way. And of course they promptly do. As we quite apparent, all of the above emotions are manipulative of the other person and destructive of real relationship. They all diminish our self-esteem, for they are all position of vulnerability. Thus, although we may think that we feel well and secure at the level of pride, that pride is always accompanied by defensiveness due to its basic vulnerability. We puff up with pride whenever we feel insecure. The inflation of pride is easily susceptible to the puncture of a passing remark and raised eyebrow.
Firstly, thank you, Akshay and Richa, for continuing the session, even though I logged off. And let me explain this. So we spoke about a fact that when I am full, I do not want anyone else to keep filling me up because I know overflow karega, right? So very, very important to understand, equate pride in that same situation. There's belief, whether it's unconscious or whether it's surroundings say. What response is that? That if I go wrong, I'll be punished. If I go right, I'll be rewarded. We have this feeling that, okay, this is how life goes. When we have adequate self-esteem, we are motivated by inner humility and gratitude. जब हमें अपने अपने पास इतनी रिस्पेक्ट है, अपनी सेल्फ एस्टीम है, अपनी कद्र है, हमें ह्यूमिलिटी ऑटोमेटिकली आगे उसको मुखौटा नहीं पहनना पड़ेगा कि अरे आई एम हम्बल, अरे आई एम ग्राउंडेड. मुझे पता है मैं हूं तो मैं हूं ना, कोई दिखेगा. बट अगर मैं नहीं हूं हम्बल, कभी ह्यूमिलिटी दिखेगी, कभी मुझे गुस्सा दिखेगा, कभी ग्रैटिट्यूड दिखेगा, कभी क्रिटिसिज्म दिखेगी. So we do not need to be constantly eliciting from people the validation भगवान से, दूसरे लोगों से. अगर हम अच्छा है तो अच्छा होगा. Let's believe in that. When we want to when we stop catering for others and try to manipulate their approval, that's when we really evolve as a person. Then we don't want flattery, we don't want deference, we don't want self-efficacy, we don't want passivity, we don't want all these things because we don't want to influence anyone. We're not catering to anybody's egos. We're doing ourselves a favor by being who we are, and that is truthfulness. Then it doesn't matter कि लोग क्या सोचते हैं, मुझे पता है ना मैं सही पाथ पे हूँ. Automatically people will respond to that vibration also. So very important to understand, अगर हम मैनिपुलेटिव हो रहे हैं तो लाइफ भी मैनिपुलेट करेगी हमारे साथ. अगर हम ट्रूथफुल हो रहे हैं तो लाइफ will also be truthful for all of us. Please, when the minute you're insecure, drop off, let go of insecurity. Say an affirmation for security and drop off, because that is when you will really rise above in your own eyes. इसलिए मैं बार बार बोलती हूँ, we have to become a better version of ourselves, not with other people what they say. Let's read let's read a human condition tomorrow. Or if you have time, we can do it now. Whatever everyone wants, please let me know. If you want to do this right now, 10 more minutes. Otherwise, we can read it tomorrow and can now go on to Rod Judkins' creative thinking. whatever. Just give me quick responses. Okay, all right. So human condition is tomorrow. Let's thinking. And actually, I'll request you to read it now. All right. And thank you, Richa, for reading for all of us. Now over to Akshay for reading the chapter on creative thinking. So until Sir brings a book, let's just understand a couple of things. We are in this journey for a purpose. The purpose is to find who we are. The purpose is to understand why life is the way it is. And now today in this beautiful journey, let's understand that we all have been creators, thinkers, dreamers, believers, achievers. In this path where we are doing all of that we are doing, it's very important to think out of the box, to be absolutely in a different realm of creativity. How do we do that? Let's understand from this chapter, Unbox Your Ways Out of Boxes. Over to you, Akshay.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Asked to write an extremely short story for a magazine. Make a feature of the brevity. Asked to design a building on a steep mountainside. Build out in a way that exaggerates the acute angles. Asked to paint a picture on a curved ceiling, split into sections. Michelangelo overcame these limitations when painting the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. The biggest challenge was fitting human figures into a ceiling crisscrossed by spandrels. The chapel ceiling was a barrel vault, curving downwards, segregated by spandrels and viewed from 60 feet below. It required amazing imagination to adapt to the perspective distortion. Michelangelo used the unusual shapes of the spandrels to create a more dynamic composition than if he had been given the freedom of a clear ceiling. He had to design scaffolding built out from holes in the wall rather than built up from the floor. For the first time in his career, he had to use the complicated fresco painting technique. He painted standing and looking upwards for months, making it the most physically demanding painting ever completed. The expanse was huge in comparison to other great paintings, roughly 12,000 square feet. 500 years later, the ceiling still inspires awe. It's a masterpiece of drama, color, people, motion, and
It
scene.
was huge in comparison to other great paintings, roughly 12,000 square feet.
The viewer hardly notices the spandrels because they are so well integrated into the composition. Sometimes we feel boxed in by restrictions, but we must make the most of the limitations imposed on us and search for ways around, under and over barriers. Restrictions force the inventive into unique and unusual solutions. Don't dismiss an opportunity that's outside your usual area. Practical difficulties can lead to original solutions. Creativity requires mental liberation. It needs to be liberated from something, which means it needs barriers to overcome. Creativity is often a response to constraint.
Beautiful. Creativity is often a response to constraint. जब भी क्रिएटिव रहेंगे लाइफ में रुकावटें आएंगी रेस्ट्रिक्शंस आएंगे रोड ब्लॉक्स आएंगे बोल्डर्स आएंगे don't dismiss that opportunity, move around it, find a solution, don't be so boxed up, find a way out, over, under, side, up, wherever you want. Limitations का मतलब होता है infinite. The other way of limitations is one is limitless, one is limited. Be limitless. How do you become limitless? Let go of limitations. And that's when you become limitless. That's when you can invent your life the way you want, finding one solution after the other. Practical solutions bhi aayenge, practical difficulties bhi aayenge, lekin original solutions are going to be amazing. So liberate yourself. George Braque says, in art, progress lies not in an extension, but in a knowledge of limitations. So deep. So wonderful to understand that we all have to go beyond stagnated, when we can't go beyond. So very important to challenge ourselves. If life challenges us, fabulous. If it doesn't, find the challenge yourself. Find a new way where you can learn, evolve, and grow. Thank you, Rahul sir. Time for a heart thought and a meditation. Yes, Akshay can record and I can take you guys to the. Today's heart thought is absolutely wonderful. It's about wisdom. And it says, I follow my inner wisdom. And we will meditate on these lines. So let's all check our body postures. Our feet firmly placed on the ground below. Our hands in a comfortable resting position. Eyes softly closed. A soft, serene smile on our faces. Let's take a deep breath in. And out. Inhale. And ever so gently exhale. Once more, take a deep breath in. And out. Life is full of wisdom. Life is full of magic. Life is full of peace. I follow my inner wisdom. Meditation is really just quietening ourselves enough so we can get in touch with our own inner wisdom. And on mornings like these, when all of us are going inwards by taking a deep breath in, by centering, balancing, aligning ourselves, we're coming deeply in touch with our own wisdom. Whatever we hear from the outer world is actually a reflection of what we require. I follow my inner wisdom. Come from that wonderful caring spot of your heart. Let's stay centered and love who we are. And know that we really are divine, magnificent expression of life. No matter what is going out there, we are centered and balanced. We have a right to our own feelings, our own opinions. We are the way we are. Every single day, we work on loving ourselves a bit more. We work on opening our heart a bit more with more love, more compassion. We work on what is right for us and getting in touch with our inner voice. Our inner wisdom knows the answers for us. Sometimes it's scary to do that. But let's follow the intuition. Because the answer we get inside may be quite different from what our friends expect us to do, or society, or people around. But that is our inner guidance. And that higher self knows exactly what is right for us at this given time. And if we follow our inner wisdom, we stay at peace with our own being essence. Otherwise, that little noise is always coming in the mind. Oh, I should have done that. I was guided and yet I didn't follow it. Support yourself in making the right choices for yourself. Whenever in doubt, ask yourself, am I coming from the loving space of my heart? Is this decision that I'm making, is it loving for me? Is it right for me now? Let's understand that whatever guidance is coming to us is coming for now. If we were to take that guidance later, sometime in our life, a day later, a week later, a month later, it may no longer be the right choice. And then we'll again have to change it. So when in doubt, ask your heart, your higher self, your inner wisdom, is this the right choice for me now? And let's start affirming in our life single day. Love, and I make the right choices at the right time because I am divinely guided. Whenever I have a doubt, I go deep inside me and I know I have the right answer. I trust my intuition. I am committed to furthering my life, to becoming a better version of myself. And I am on this process, then I am divinely blessed. And so it is. Let's bow our heads in gratitude. Dear Mother Earth, Sister Gaia of the Maharishis, the Janani Janmabhoomi, thank you for encouraging me to grow. Thank you for blessing me with abundant light, with growth, with inner peace, by balancing me, aligning me, keeping me rooted, by making me a channel of love and light, by filling me with empathy, with compassion for humanity, for making me compassionate about life, about all people, about all things, about all beings.